Hello and welcome to this week's Special Wellness Wander, which celebrates Mental Health Awareness Week and encourages people to connect with nature. So I'm starting here beside one of my favourite trees in the garden, Malus transitoria, which is just full of blossom, nestled here between Corrie Lodge and the cafe. For today's wander, we're going to go through the garden and stop and pause in key points at which visitors can sit and take in the environment and their surroundings and just gain a sense of calm and tranquility. Today's first port of call is the dry garden. And as you enter, you can't fail but be impressed by this flash of lime green offered by the euphorbias in here. And this is such a lovely, quiet corner of the garden. It really does beg us to sit down and just admire for a few moments this wonderful sight of Demonstration Garden. And you may hear in the background the gentle hum of traffic, a buzz of visitors chatting, but also bird song. And there's something so uplifting at this time of year about the fresh foliage emerging in trees and shrubs. It really gives a hint of what's to come over the coming few months. And one of the lovely things about connecting with nature is it really encourages you to look and just take in the wonder of the natural world, as here with Euphorbia caracus subspecies wolfenii. And as we emerge from the dry garden, we're met by this wonderful bronzy haze offered by our grass maize. And you can see in the centre here a brand new seat or throne for those people who successfully make their way to the centre of the maze. But it's a wonderful spot to just run your hands or even brush your legs against these beautiful arching fronds. It really brings another sensation to you as you wander through the garden here. And we're now beside the fairway, which offers another quiet spot for visitors to just slow down, take a deep breath, and just observe and wonder at some of the shapes and forms presented here by the naked stems of the trees here. But also to take time to just look closely at what's growing beneath our feet. So here we have dandelions nestled amongst buttercups, and also a few bluebells creeping in alongside cow parsley, and all of them with very distinct forms and shapes that meld together to give this beautiful carpeting effect here in this area of the garden. And at this time of year, even the grass and the plants nestled here have beautiful colour about them and freshness. And just even pausing to take in the sight of trees and their shadows cast in the sunlight this morning is just very, very absorbing. And there are colourful highlights around the garden too. Here, a pink form of Peonia fruticosa with these voluptuous blooms, delicate in their form, but making wonderful contrast here with this red tinged foliage. And we're going to continue our wander through the fairway here beneath the sweeping limbs of Quercus frainetto, and just to stop and admire the beautiful newly emerging foliage here. This is a wonderful tree, the Hungarian oak, which has beautifully indented, quite large leaves in summer, but you can see here just how fresh and glossy these new leaves are as they burst through and fill out the canopy. And there are lots of opportunities here in the garden for visitors to just sit quietly, bring a book, eat a packed lunch, or just to take in the view. And it's a lovely opportunity for me to just take in a site like this and sit quietly here in the garden just for a few moments, listening to the birds, spotting insects as they hover about in the grass. It really does help ground us all, just taking a few moments to admire the plantings and environment around us. And our final spot on this week's Wellness Wander is the Scented Garden. And as we head towards the entrance, it's been amazing to observe how full of flower the familiar laurel tree is. So this is the bay tree. And often we forget that it does flower as well as produce these beautifully fragrant leaves. And in contrast to the fairway, there's a much greater sense of intimacy here in the Scented Garden. You can approach beds full of lush, fresh, verdant growth at this time of year, which will fill out to provide a spectacle of colour later in the season. And it's lovely to take in some of the obvious flowers. Here, allium, purple sensation, against a backdrop of one of the lilacs. But also, just to take a moment to look at the wonder and spectacle of these emerging buds on an iris. And it's very easy to take note of them when they're in full flower, but even in bud, they're beautiful in form and structure. And it's just lovely to have the opportunity to slow down and observe and really distract yourself from everything else that's going on in our busy and chaotic lives. And just looking here at the flowers of Iris germanica subspecies florentina, one of the bearded iris. It's beautiful and delicate in form, but you can also see here the wonderful beard just here which sits upon these lower petals. And these are the kind of things that you just don't observe when we're rushing about in our normal daily lives. And to finish this wellness wander for Mental Health Awareness Week, I'm just going to sit and pause here in the shelter in the scented garden. It's not as full and verdant as it will be in a few weeks' time when everything's filled out and is in full bloom, but there's still much to sit and take in and observe. And there's something so calming just looking at this scene, which almost presents tiers of green layers across the landscape. And very easy, you just sit quietly, contemplate all that you can see, to switch off from the pressures and hubbub of our daily lives. And lovely also to see our visitors taking time to indulge in these same simple pleasures. Thank you for joining me, and I hope we'll be back again soon for one of our regular wellness wanders. Thank you and goodbye.